Hey, I'm Red. This is the Aegis Sabre. Not the Firebird, not the Raven, but the standard and arguably best of the three Sabre variants made by Aegis Dynamics. As one of only a few stealth fighters currently flyable in Star Citizen, I'm gonna review it and go over absolutely everything you need to know about this awesome ship. Check out the video's chapters at the bottom of your screen to quickly find the information you're looking for, or stick around as we jump straight into the Sabre's combat score with its weapons and defenses. And if you're new to Star Citizen or want to make an account, remember to use a referral code when you sign up. If you want to use mine, it's in the description and I'll put it on screen now. So starting off with the Sabre's weapons, it has 4 gimbaled size 3 hardpoints, with 2 positioned either side of the cockpit and the other 2 positioned either side of the engine intakes. These can be fired separately as weapon groups 1 and 2 by clicking the left and right mouse button, allowing you to fire 2 of the weapons as the other 2 recharge or cooldown, giving the enemy no time to recharge their shields or make adjustments between attacks. Of course, you can fire all 4 at once and absolutely destroy the target, but if you need to recharge or cool down your weapons, you've got nothing to do in the meantime. You can also try running different weapons on each group, like having laser repeaters on one and distortion cannons on another, allowing you to efficiently knock out other ships' systems without killing or damaging them, which can be ideal if you're doing bounty hunting or trying to steal cargo. Although the capacitors on the Sabre aren't huge, they can fire between 60 and 90 rounds from each laser repeater, or needing to recharge depending on how you prioritize your power. And as each ballistic weapon carries the same amount of ammo regardless of the ship it's on, what really matters is your accuracy when you fire it. Just like a lot of fighters, the Sabre has a missile bay concealed under the main body, keeping the ship stealthy but limiting its overall payload. With 2 missile racks each able to hold 1 size 4, 2 size 3, 4 size 2, or even 8 size 1 missiles depending on your preference. But it's not a heavy fighter, so the loadout you choose is extremely important to its ability to actually win the fight. The highest damage per second with laser weapons is 1,368, using 4 M5A cannons, which hold around 10 rounds in each before needing to recharge. And the highest damage with ballistic weapons is 3,372, using 4 Deadbolt 3 cannons, which each hold about 250 rounds of ammo before you need to go resupply. And the highest damage from missiles is 37,325 when you equip 16 size 1 arrow missiles. Onto its defense, the Sabre has dual size 1 shield generators, currently giving it around 3,000 shield hit points to protect it mostly from energy weapons, but also taking some of the pain away from the ballistic rounds. The Sabre's hull itself has around 23,000 hit points, keeping it pretty close to similar sized ships. But where the Sabre and other stealth ships really shine is, you guessed it, its ability to be stealthy. With a 40% reduction on its electromagnetic, infrared, and cross-section signatures regardless of the components you equip, combined with its combat speed of 206 meters per second or 480 meters a second while boosting in SCM mode, this is one badass ship. You can further reduce the ship's signature by lowering or even turning off systems such as the backup components, energy weapons, shields, and power modes, allowing you even more time to approach before you get spotted. Though its agility does let it down a little bit compared to other similar ships like the Ghost Hornet, with a pitch, yaw, and roll score of 50, 42, and 145 degrees respectively, or 60, 50, and 174 degrees respectively when boosting. Although it does accelerate really quickly when in space or in atmo, you can go a lot faster while in atmosphere than most ships. Plus the afterburners look amazing. But you'll be reminded pretty quick if you try to take on a bunch of light fighters in atmosphere. Plus 48 decoy flares and 5 noise chaff loads at the ready when you need to make a smoke bomb exit or evade a swarm of Rattler micro missiles. So with all of its offense and defense covered, from its hardpoints and best loadouts to its shields and agility, Sabre gets itself a solid 3.5 out of 5 gold stars for its combat score. Now it's time to go over the Sabre's utility score with its components and other features. Starting off with a ton of redundancy built into every part of the Sabre, it has dual size 1 power plants, dual size 1 coolers, dual size 1 shield generators as previously mentioned, and a size 1 quantum drive, meaning you'll always have a backup if one of your systems gets damaged or affected by distortion weapons. Coming stock with almost entirely stealth components, you're set to go without jumping around the system trying to change parts. Although they are all grade C components, so you'll probably want to upgrade them to grade A as soon as you can. And once engineering is added to the persistent universe, having 2 of everything will be a lifesaver. Even if it just means you can limp the ship away from the fight to make repairs yourself. With 2 massive engines positioned either side of the cockpit, it's no sleeper. With a crazy top speed of 1,235 meters a second in nav mode, and crazy acceleration to match. When it comes to fuel, the Sabre stays in line with its competition again, with hydrogen fuel capacity of 135,000 liters, and a quantum fuel capacity of 612 liters, allowing you to fly for hours without refueling, and make a single jump across the system, but once you get there, you're probably going to have to refuel unless you have a hyper-efficient jump drive like the Lightfire or the Atlas. Just keep in mind that these more efficient drives generally are pretty damn slow, so if you're trying to get somewhere quick, you're going to have to sacrifice the distance. With a small internal storage capacity of 0.65 SCU, or over 600 cruise lux drinks, as well as an internal weapons rack, allowing you to keep up to 2 additional weapons nearby for when you decide to land or enter the vacuum of space. But with its retracting wings, overall sleek dimensions and low profile landing gear, it allows you to maneuver into gaps you'd thought impossible at first. Which can make all the difference if you plan on using the Sabre onboard a carrier ship, or even just for when you're landing in the hangar without trying to use the third-person camera. Now for the Sabre's overall design, I mean visually, this is one of the best looking ships, let alone fighters in Star Citizen in my opinion. And besides the beautiful red accenting in the cockpit, you also get 4 large multifunctional displays, which is a blessing, especially if you're used to only having 2, as most fighters and most new ships seem to only have 2 nowadays. And as a stealth ship, having 2 extra screens so you can keep an eye on your signature at all times, or make quick adjustments to further reduce your signature, without losing your target info is awesome. With all that surface area, it weighs in at approximately 86,000 kilograms, making it slightly heavier than the Hornet as we mentioned earlier. Sabre's dimensions come in at 24.5 meters in both length and width, with a total height of 5 meters at the top of the main tail, as well as a reclaim time of 9 minutes and 30 seconds, or as quickly as 3 minutes if you pay to have it expedited for the low price of 4,600 AUEC. Priced at 4.5 million AUEC at New Deal right now, it's not bad all things considered. But as the Sabre doesn't have a walkable interior, vehicle bay, or bed that would be considered for other ships' utility score, it ends up being a much shorter list of things to tick off. So with all of its redundancy measures and features covered, from the dual components to its interior, meaning the Sabre gets another 3.5 out of 5 gold stars for its utility score. And even though we can't let its looks sway the overall rating, the Sabre deserves a little bit of appreciation for just how well it's designed. I know looks are subjective, but everyone that I've spoken to thinks it's a good looking ship, even if it's not their favorite because they're wrong. Of course, it's not perfect by any means. I do think that the folding wing should line up better with the main body of the wing instead of having a cut-in, and that the cockpit should be raised ever so slightly just to make the side profile a little bit more consistent, as it looks a little bit melted. And lastly, just to be picky, I think the engine intakes could be a little lower profile to match the rest of the design. But regardless of those few little things, I absolutely love the look and design of this ship. Now, if you're a mathematical genius, you may have already worked out the Sabre's overall rating. So, with everything covered from combat to utility, the Aegis Sabre gets an overall ship score of 3.5 out of 5 gold stars. But like every ship in Star Citizen, the person flying it matters a whole lot more than the ship stats alone. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.